All right, I'm coming here to try to make a quick video about something that I'm really hot about. I've just had my third call in not very much time about multi-currency in FreshBooks, and so I'm going to make a video. I don't have a script. I took some notes here to tell you what I want to talk about, but I need to spread this message. FreshBooks does not have multi-currency. To be a little bit more precise, you can't use FreshBooks as your general ledger if you have multi-currency needs beyond just sending an invoice. So you can't have multi-currency denominated bank accounts. You can't have US dollars and Canadian dollars, and that's where I've seen it several times within the last few weeks. It's US Canadian, and we got to fix this. So first, the little history about how we got here. The reason why FreshBooks even maybe presents itself like it has multi-currency, and you do see like a little toggle that says USD to CAD, is because FreshBooks started off as an invoicing software. And if you're only sending invoices, you don't run into the accounting problems that having real multi-currency accounting needs causes. So, 20 years ago, all you were doing was sending invoices. Maybe you live near the border and you have clients in New York and in Toronto, and that's great. And they want to pay you differently, and you can send them different invoices with a different denomination. And that worked fine. And then FreshBooks tries to become a full general ledger, and they have to keep their multi-currency invoicing, right? Like they can't take that away from their customers who were using it. So that's how we got here. So when you're in your FreshBooks and you see a drop-down or a toggle to select currency, just know that that's like a legacy thing, and it has not been built or appropriately modified for the fact that FreshBooks now has, debits and credits for everything, that we need to be able to run a balance sheet that would include our US dollar and our Canadian dollar accounts. That is super, super, super advanced accounting, and this is a very, very basic accounting tool, and it does not work for multi-currency. So I want to illustrate a problem for you. Right now I'm kind of talking like accounting speak, so if this is beyond you, you need to send this video to your accounting person, their accountant that's helping you, but they'll get this. So here, y'all, I'm in the general ledger. I have run a report for this demo account for basically the full history of the account. And look, we got a general ledger in Canadian dollars, and we got lots of entries here, okay? And then this doesn't make any sense. You can change your general ledger to US dollars, click apply, and we have this baby general ledger. Somehow, first of all, none of these transactions actually happened in a connected bank account. I can tell that these were all done like manual invoices, I suppose. But there's no such thing as two general ledgers in accounting. You don't have a US dollar, an abbreviated US dollar general ledger and then like a full or a 95% general ledger in another software. So this is like, again, accountants are going to understand this, that this is not real accounting. It's like the developers and the accountants were in the room several years ago when they were trying to become a general ledger, and the accountants lost, okay? The developers won. They're like, we're just going to fix this by making two general ledgers, or we're going to track it separately. So when you run any report, you're able to, you can run your P&L for Canadian, and you can run your P&L for US dollars, but you need a whole P&L, okay? You need a whole P&L for the year, right? And so those sales or those expenses that were in USD are not going to show up on your Canadian P&L. Not okay. Even if we could mentally get there to where we could like combine those two, if you think about the amount of work involved in that, you need to be just paying more for a software that's meant to do that, y'all, okay? All right, so I don't want to only complain. Here is some like use cases and fixes for this if you find yourself in that situation. Who can use FreshBooks if they have multi-currency? First of all, if you just need to send invoices, that's fine. There are a lot of businesses who just use FreshBooks because they like the invoicing tool. You can time track, you can have your team time track and push stuff to invoices. You can rebill expenses. Lots of good stuff with just invoicing. But you can't then continue to use it as your general ledger. You would be paying for another software. I know that QuickBooks has multi-currency. I'm not sure if the outsourced accounting called Bench that FreshBooks like as a partner with. I'm not sure if they would be able to handle it. Like if you had a Canadian and US dollar bank account. I'm not sure if Bench handles multi-currency or not, but you're going to need a more robust accounting software if you're doing something beyond sending those invoices. But if you love invoicing, just send invoicing, pay your $30 for FreshBooks to send invoices or whatever the price is these days, and buy another accounting software, and that's fine. Or, here we go. You're going to send an invoice in FreshBooks to, let's pretend we're Canadians. I'm a Texan, but let's pretend we're Canadians, and I've got one US dollar client. So I can make a US dollar invoice, okay? And I'm going to go send it to that client, and they're going to pay Royal Bank of Canada, maybe, wherever I have my US dollar account. They're going to pay that in US dollars. But on that day, there will be a value of what the exchange rate was, right? And so then what I want you to do is pretend like they paid you in Canadian. So send that money right away. I think you can do it automatically with some banks, but if not, take your US dollars and immediately put it in your bank account in Canadian. Now what's going to happen? You're going to have a deposit in Canadian. You're going to go delete the US dollar invoice. It'll always be saved, so don't worry about like audit purposes. Delete that invoice, and then you're going to recreate a new invoice in Canadian. And whatever that dollar figure was that showed up in your Canadian bank account, that's what I want you to make your invoice for, essentially. You're going to recreate your invoice to where it matches the Canadian dollars you actually received. And you're going to make a lot of notes at the bottom saying, hey, I deleted invoice number 112 and I'm recreating invoice number 116 because of the currency conversion situation. You can even download your old invoice 112 as a PDF and attach it to that new invoice 116 that's in Canadian. That is a way to solve this problem. Again, only for those of you who are sending invoices. If you're spending US dollars too, y'all, and you have like actual USD that you keep, just no, you gotta move to a different software, okay? Wow, I feel a little wound up. Sorry about that. I hope this is clear. I'm just trying to save some people some heartache. You still have time to change. Hopefully, if you have watched this and you realize you're a true multi-currency operation, then we just saved yourself a lot of work trying to put a square peg in a round hole, okay? Go move quickly to something else. Hire a professional to get you caught back up, take your historical data, build it in the new software. There are people who do that. They're like the version of me, but for whatever other accounting software you want to use, right? I only work in FreshBooks. There are people who work only in other softwares. And that's the person you want to go find. You'll save yourself a lot of time and energy if you just go hire them right away and get brought up to speed quickly, because you have pretty intense accounting needs if you're a true multi-currency operation. If you've listened this far, you're kind of neck deep in FreshBooks, I guess. So if you're not moving, you need to be subscribed to my channel, y'all. All I do is FreshBooks. Hit subscribe. Reach out to me if you ever need any bookkeeping help at all. I'm here for you. My name's Kate, and Heritage Business Services is my company, and I'm not even doing a good outro. I will sign off now. Call me if you need me.